Alam from London.
Hi, Alam. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Very good.
Not bad, not bad. Come on.
Hi, Duncan, Stephen Hardy over in North Yorkshire.
Hi, Steve. Good to have you on the call.
Yeah.
Duncan, you got Gail saying hi in the chat.
Oh, hi, Gail. You can
Duncan, Bruce. You know where I'm from.
Hi, Bruce. Good to have you on.
Adrian from Edinburgh, UK. Thank you.
Hi, Adrian. We're just going to hang on for another minute or so. Just there's always a lot of people that seem to come on late. If you want to say your name and just let us know where you're calling from.
Good evening, Lawson from Hull, UK.
From where, Lawson?
Oh.
Hull?
Yes.
Oh, good to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, if you just come on, if you want to say your name and just let everybody know where you're calling from, you can unmute yourself.
Hi guys, it's Mike here from Barnstable near North Devon.
Good to have you on, Mike.
Hi, Duncan. This is Soraneto from Botswana.
Good to have you on from Botswana. Yeah. Getting a bit of feedback there from somewhere. I don't know. If anybody's just come on, if you want to say your name and just let us know where you're calling from. Colin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, mate.
Colin, you're looking after the chat room, yeah?
Yeah. I'll have a quick look. So it's all good.
Okay, just give it another half a minute and we'll get started. If there's anybody just come on, if you just want to announce your name and just let everybody know where you're calling from.
Hi, it's Daryl from Stafford.
Good to have you on, Daryl.
Thanks. Beth from Birmingham in the UK.
Hi, Beth.
Hello.
Brummy.
Brummy, yeah. There's Brummies, plenty of Brummies in the room tonight. Is there any Shirleys? Good evening, everybody. If you want to just say your name and just let everybody know where you're calling from, you should come on the call.
Hi, everybody. Darlene in Florida.
Darlene, I love you. You're on every call. Fantastic.
Thank you. I love you too. I love everything about 50-50.
So do I. Best thing I've ever seen. Mark, good to have you on the call.
Hi, I didn't know if my mic was working. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else just want to announce your name and let everybody know where you're calling from before we start? I'm going to start in a second. Okay, let me just first of all mute everybody. You can, if you want to unmute yourselves later, do that manually. Just so you know, the microphone is at the bottom of the screen. If you hold your cursor at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the symbols arrive at the bottom, right at the bottom left. And you can unmute yourself. You can stop your video as well, just in case you're doing anything you shouldn't be doing in front of the camera. Okay, let me mute everybody. What's happening? Okay, I'm just putting everybody on mute, and I'm just going to share my screen. And I'm just going to record. And Colin, if you could just tell me, can you see that picture?
Yep, nice and clear.
Okay, welcome everybody. My name's Duncan Wood. I live in North Wales. For any new people, just to give you a little bit about my background, I've been making a full-time living through network marketing and online marketing in the last 10 years. I've done fantastic, but I've also had plenty of disasters. And this last year was the worst year I've had for a long, long time. Too many years to mention. But like anything, things happen, and lots of things happened all at the same time. And it was the worst year I've ever had. Financially, it got diabolical and got to a critical point. I didn't know what I was going to do. The businesses I'm involved in, the income had slowed down. I looked at them and thought, well, that's not going to change anything. I really did not know what I was going to do, not been in a situation like that for 30 or 40 years. And a friend of mine from Canada messaged me with a video to watch. I did watch it. I wasn't in the right frame of mind to watch that video that night, but he did message me a week later and told me that he had been in this system for 16 days at the time and had received income in his bank to $56,000. I had to call him. I wanted to know how. I was skeptical, but there's nothing wrong with being skeptical as long as you ask questions and ask the right people. So I did call him, spent a long time discussing it with him, wanted to know the ins and outs of everything, wanted to know who was behind the company, how sustainable was it, how long it's going to last, was it legal, everything. And I came off that call and I donated that evening $250. Half went to my sponsor, John, and half went to a guy called Joe, who turned out, because Joe ended up calling me about an hour later, and I got to talking to him, asked him the same questions as I asked John, and asked him first how long he'd been doing it, and he said the same length of time as John, because I introduced John. So he'd been in it exactly the same time, 16 days. He had actually earned less than John. He'd earned about 40,000. So this just shows you that just because somebody introduces you doesn't mean to say that that person can't earn less or more than you. It depends on how hard you work. Cut a long story short, I went to bed that night, hadn't really spoken to anybody, hadn't done anything, woke up in the morning, there was $250 in my bank account. I don't know about you, but I've never been involved in a business where I didn't do anything and woke up the next day and it was already break even. So I started literally, it's about my 48th day now. And all I can tell you is that the most amazing system I have ever seen. I've been in so many different types of businesses, you wouldn't believe it. Some were fantastic, but not around anymore. Some were great and unfortunately badly managed. Some were run as a scam and we didn't know it. But all I can tell you is I've done my research. I'm hopefully going to give you what I found out about this company and how it works. It is the most amazing system you're probably ever likely to see. So take notice. As I said, my name's Duncan Wood, and hopefully you've all seen the short presentation before you've been invited onto this call. I would recommend anybody that you invite onto these webinars, they have watched that video first, but I'm going to go through a short introduction, a short overview, and then we're going to have a Q&A, and we've got some updates tonight because some of you might not know what's going on, but I can tell you there's a development going on in the company. And if we sound excited, I've never been more excited in my life. I've never seen so many donations come in one day ever. Absolutely incredible. So what is crowdfunding? Well, I've learned more about crowdfunding in this last month than I ever knew before. I did know about it and I knew it was legal, but I didn't realize quite how big it is and how prominent this system is becoming worldwide. It's basically a system to raise money for any project or cause. It's a group of people basically helping each other. Now, crowdfunding goes back thousands of years. If you think about it, how did people build houses before we had mortgages? You know, what used to happen was communities of people would work together, help each other. And as an example, they'd help one person build a house, and when that was finished, they'd all go and help somebody else build another house. And that is crowdfunding in essential. It's a group of people grouping together to build or fund or create anything that they want. It's what a lot of countries or towns and cities have lost. So why crowdfunding? Well, you've only got to look at the last banking crisis. I actually, when I was a builder, which was round about Maggie Thatcher's time, so I remember the previous recession, which was not good, when interest rates were 15%. The one time I needed help from the bank, and I had a very strong relationship with my bank at one time, but unfortunately they took bank managers away from you and gave you somebody in an office you'd never even met. And when I had a company go bankrupt on me, the one time I needed the bank's help, what did they do? Go and reduce my overdraft facility by 3/4. So they actually put me under. Now, you've seen what happened in the last banking crisis. If you think that was bad, you haven't seen anything yet, because I think there's going to be an even bigger one very shortly in the next year, possibly 2 years, might even be sooner. So the banks are causing the problem because the banks are failing us. if anybody thinks that crowdfunding is illegal, just go and have a look at the banking system. That's the biggest scam in history. We are all being trapped into debt, and the banks are riding on that. So the banks are failing us. They're no longer lending. Nobody trusts them anymore. So the human race, being the human race, has developed a system, and this has really come to fore with regards of the internet and social media. So now what is happening is crowdfunding is coming to the forefront. Just go and have a look online, do your own research. These are some of the companies. These are actually the top 10 companies right now that are helping people to raise capital. A lot of them you've probably heard of. I'd heard of Indiegogo. I didn't realize they were a crowdfunding company. But these companies are handling millions of dollars in donations. And just to give you some idea of what we're talking about, how big is it? Well, according to Wikipedia, over $34 billion has been donated through this industry of crowdfunding in the last 3 years alone. Now, is that just a fad? Is it? No, I really don't think it is. It's actually growing so fast. It's one of the fastest growing industries in the world today. This is according to industry experts, Crowdfund, and according to them, crowdfunding has grown by 136% a year in the last few years alone. So just have a look at some of these companies. This is PayPal, the world's largest payment provider. They have very recently integrated crowdfunding into their system. Now, you've got to understand, to be able to do that cost millions. I mean, I can tell you alone that 50/50 site cost $8 million just to get this site up and running. So imagine what a company like PayPal that have got millions of people all over the world. Imagine what it takes to integrate a new system into their site. It's major outlay. So why are they choosing crowdfunding? Well, as I said, people are looking for new ways to raise funds for any purpose. So you've all heard of Facebook. All the social media platforms now are opening up their platforms to allow the users to donate money to either charities or product-based fundraising, or to use it for yourself. Facebook, you can literally add a button to your Facebook page which allows anybody in the world to donate to you for whatever reason you want. You don't have to explain or ask why you want the money. Whatever the reason is, it is available for anybody to use it. So can anybody crowdfund? Yes, they can. Anybody can. Here's an example in the Mail Online of a broke father who wanted to raise the funds for his Christmas family dinner, and he raised $2,000 literally in a matter of hours. And as I said to you, because of the internet, mobile phones, iPhones and computers now, this can be done so fast. Literally in a matter of minutes, you can have donations sent to you. So who's behind this company? This was one of the most important questions I wanted to know, because I've been with many companies that look good on the surface. And yes, we've all done our research. It doesn't matter how good your research is. If it's not run well, it's going to fail. I wanted to know about David. Now, I know if you go and look online, David has failed a couple of companies. If you go and speak to any successful business person, Richard Branson is an example. Has he succeeded in every business? Absolutely not. Now, what I wanted to know is, why is David an expert in this field? I'll tell you why. Because in success, you've got to have failures. You know, Edison invented the light bulb. He failed millions of times before he succeeded. This gentleman, David Rosen, founded a similar platform. It's still running to this day, back in 2002. Now, think back to that year. The internet was nothing like it is now, and we didn't have iPhones, we didn't have social media like we have now. And he developed a platform that has literally today got 670,000 members, and that platform has generated so far over 1 billion in donations between its members, and it's still running to this day. David sold that company for a reason. He wanted to keep the software, which he did. He had the license for the software, and he wanted to develop it using the latest technology and create something even better than the previous company. So has this guy that got the experience? Absolutely. And David not only has got the experience, he's got the vision to see where this is going to go. He knows and estimates that this is going to be 10 times bigger than this company. Now, if this company turned over nearly $1 billion, imagine if 50/50 could turn over 10 billion. And David reckons this will just carry on. We'll all be dust before we even begin to see it maybe slow down. So why this company? Well, imagine if you got involved in these companies. You've all heard of these names. They're all, some of them are now the biggest companies on the planet. Imagine if you got a share or got involved with those companies right at the beginning. Ask yourself this question: how wealthy would you be today? Now, everything is in hindsight, but I can tell you timing is everything. Just imagine if you are now getting involved in a company like 50/50 right now. The time is right now. Why? Because, as I said, the banking industry is failing people. People need to live. They need to generate revenue. And a lot of people are ending up in debt. They can't pay that debt back. How else do you get out of debt? You can only work so many hours, especially if you're in a job. You'll only ever earn so much money, and costs are going up because of the whole system. The banking system is doing that. So the pound that you're earning is less and less in your pocket. So here's a solution for anybody, and the timing couldn't be better. So how does it actually all work? Well, 50/50 is the world's first crowdfunding system that allows you to receive half of everything that happens in your donation centers forever. And you can have multiple, up to 5 donation centers. So it's based on the world famous Mobius loop. And this is the key. It might take a little bit it's a very simple business, but it does take a little bit to understand what that actually means, the Mobius loop. It basically means it's one of the world's most successful 2x2 follow me donation centers in history. And in a nutshell, anybody you personally introduce and who they introduce follow you through the whole system, right up the 5 levels that you can run at any one time. So it literally means you don't have to keep recruiting people. All you need is a group of people. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but those people follow you right the way through the whole system. So 50/50 is a team crowdfunding system that provides help not just from you and your efforts, it's from above and below, from yourself and people you've introduced. And you can receive donations literally seconds after registering. So it is a peer-to-peer crowdfunding system. Now, this is one of the main points I wanted that excited me, was I wasn't reliable anymore on a company that could fail, or if there's any problem, they've got my money. There's no middlemen here. There's no bank taking a slice. Literally is one person sending a donation directly to your bank or your wallet or wherever you choose for them to send it. And donations are immediately assigned to that person. So 50/50 provides you with an easy to navigate, totally automated dashboard and displays everything in real time, allowing you to monitor your donations second by second. So how do you get started? Well, there's 3 simple steps. First of all, you need to make sure that you have got the funds available before you register either yourself or anybody else. There is a very important point there to don't let anybody start unless they've got the funds available. So once they've got the funds available, first thing you need to do is to send $29 to the company. That's the only money that you'll ever send to the company. Once you've done that, you need to become what's called an active donor. So you need to donate. As an example, if you're starting off on the 250 level, you do need to donate 50% to your upline and 50% to the person that you will drop below in a matrix of 6 places. Now, just while I talk about that, there is no way that you can fiddle this. Nobody can place anybody. It's a completely automated system, so nobody can manipulate it. Nobody can fiddle it. You've got total control over what you do. Now, all you need to do once you've donated is share this with 2 people. two people that either want to reduce their debt, want to receive more income, however, or for whatever reason they want. Help them do the same, help them register, donate exactly the same as you did, and then just help them do the same. That is it. There's the 6 places filled. It could be from your upline, it could be from you, it could be from the people you've introduced. It doesn't matter. Either way, that is now completed. So there are 5 donation centers. The first one is the 250. They each have 6 positions in them. So as an example, on the 250 level, you will receive 6 times 125, which is a total of 750 in donations that you will receive back. It doesn't matter, again, as I said, whether they've been introduced by you, your upline, or the people you've introduced. It doesn't matter. That's what the total amount you will receive. So take away the 250 from the 750, you're actually 500 up. Now, you can do that. Once that's finished, it's finished. You can say, thank you very much, I'm 500 up, and you could decide not to donate again. I couldn't understand why you would want to do that, because all you have to do if you want to do it again is donate again 250, and you can do it again and again and again. It never stops if you don't want it to. Now, if you want to, you can also have the 250 and the 500 level. So the 500 level, again, has 6 places beneath you. Once those 6 places are filled, then you would receive 6 times 250, so a total of 1,500. Remember, at the same time, you've also got your 250 level, bringing you 6 times the 125 at the same time. Then when you decide to, and you can decide even as you start, you could decide I want the 250 and the 500 at the same time. You could decide I want the 250, the 500, and the 1,000, or you could decide I want you all 5. It really is up to you. There's nothing to stop you doing that. My sponsor, that's what he did. I did ask him that question. At the time, I did say to him, I haven't got that kind of money, and I'm actually didn't want to do that, because I knew that if I said that I'd started with 7,500, some people might be put off by that. I wanted to know, can anybody do this from that lowest donation level, which is the 250, and build up to the 5 levels? And you can, and that's the whole point. That is the only money you will outlay. That 250 is the only money you will ever be out of pocket. So you can then go up to level 4, which is at the 2,000 level, 6 donations at 1,000 each this time. That gives you a total of 6,000. So you'd have your 2,000, your 1,000, your 500, and your 250 all running at the same time. You can't have more than one of the levels. So you'd only ever have one 250, one 500 level actually running at any one time. And then if you really want to get to the maximum, the 4,000 level, is 6 donations. Sorry, I went too fast there. Let me just, oh no, I'll go back. Yeah. There's the 6, just bear with me a second. Okay. Level 5, $4,000, and that's donated, and you have 6 donations of 2,000 each, so you'd have a total on that level of 12,000. So once you've achieved the 5 levels, you'd have all 5 receiving centers open together, and you could receive, as an example, 2 or 3 donations from each level every few days. Could be multiple times. I mean, as an example, the level 1 can actually, what they call, what's the word? It's gone out of my mind. Cycle, sorry, 2 or 3 times in a day. It is literally up to you and the people you introduce. So let's just take the 250 level. It works exactly the same on every level. But as soon as you introduce your first person and they donate, 125 goes to you. Introduce your second person, again, you'd receive another 125, and help those 2 people get their first people. They would receive 125, and you would get 125. The second person of the first person you introduced now sends them 125, and you would get 125, and the same with the other 2 of the second person. So in total, you would receive a total of 6 donations, all of 125, equaling 750 on the 250 level. On the 500 level, it would be 6 donations of 250. On the 1,000 level, be 6 donations of $500. On the 2,000, it would be 6 donations of $1,000 at a time. And on the level 5, it would be 6 donations of 2,000 each time. So that is it in a nutshell. You can literally do that as many times as you want. As I said, the previous company has been going for 16 years. There is one person that I heard that started it off 16 years ago with $100 and is still receiving donations 16 years later. Imagine if you started a system like this today, and in 16 years' time, you're still receiving donations automatically. Wow, what a system. So that's the end of the presentation. I'm going to stop sharing. And if anybody wants to unmute themselves, or if you put your hand up, and if you want to see your hand put up, it's on the bottom of your screen on the right-hand side. Put your hand up and we'll unmute you to allow you to speak, or you're quite welcome to unmute yourself and ask any questions. But let me just, for the new people especially, there's only a certain number of questions that people generally ask. One is the first person I spoke to, I think I told you, he said to me it was illegal. Now, I knew it wasn't. I didn't want to argue with him, didn't want to fall out with him. So I went and did my own research to make sure that I knew that when I was speaking to anybody, whatever they said to me, I knew that I was right. And it's amazing how people love to give an opinion, often of something they know very little about. So I just wanted to make sure. So I actually spoke to my friend who's a solicitor, and asked him a question. I said, I know the answer to this, but I just want to hear it from you. Would you tell me, is crowdfunding legal or illegal? Now, he said to me, the first thing he said to me is, what type of crowdfunding is it? Because there are different types. As an example, there is investment crowdfunding, and that is regulated, as an example, in the UK by the Financial Services Authority. But peer-to-peer crowdfunding, he came back a couple of days later, and my friend was wrong, and I was right. It is totally legal in every country throughout the world. Another friend of mine, I don't know whether he's on the call tonight, is a very successful business person. He asked his lawyer to do exactly the same. He expected his lawyer to come back and say to him, don't touch it with a barge pole. He actually came back with the opposite report. It was actually a glowing report saying this is totally legal. And the reason why it is totally legal, none of the donations that go from person to person, none of that money goes to the company at all. If it was going to the company, then yes, it would be not legal. But it doesn't. As I said, the only money that goes to the company is that $29. The other thing a lot of people ask, is it sustainable? Well, I've already told you, David already has a company that's still running to this day. He sold it to another company and they are now running it and own it. But the way I look at it is nothing lasts forever, nothing. I can't predict, nor can you, what's going to happen in the future. Another war could break out, you just don't know. But one thing I can tell you, I don't know about you, but if I'm receiving donations, I'm not going to stop those donations from coming. And the only way you can stop donations coming is not to donate again. So as long as you keep donating, you keep receiving. So the system is donate, share, and receive. Donate, share, and receive. And as I said to you, all the people that you personally introduce follow you right the way up each level for life. As long as you keep donating, you keep receiving, and those people keep following you with all their people following you through every level right the way through for life. There isn't many other questions other than most people find it difficult to understand how it works. But let me ask you this. If somebody tried to describe how to drive a car, you wouldn't be able to do it by somebody describing it to you. The only way you can learn to drive a car is actually get in it and physically drive it. This business is very similar to that. That if you're sitting there trying to understand it, my advice is just get in the car, drive it, and you'll soon learn how to drive a car. And you know yourself, once you started driving, you don't even think about it now. You know, people do all sorts of strange things in their car and don't even think about it. Sometimes you wonder how you even got from A to B sometimes, because you can't even remember the journey. That's exactly the same with this business. My advice is get in, do it, work it, treat it as a business, although it isn't a business. It's a system. It's not a business. It's not multi-level marketing. It's not network marketing, although you do need to introduce a couple of people. Now, the minimum is 2. Now, again, one of the mistakes people make is they often allow people to get going. So they introduce people to a system like this. And to me, it's like if you were invited to do a new job tomorrow, would you be allowed to walk into a factory and just told to go and work it out for yourself? No, you'd probably fail miserably. And yet people allow people to get involved in this business, and they allow them to go out and talk to people, inexperienced, no idea what they're going to say or how they're going to do it, no plan, and they wonder why people fail. So my advice is teach people, help people, teach them first of all what to say and what not to say. In fact, people actually become dangerous the more knowledge they have of a system like this, because a lot of people think that they need to understand it so that they can go and explain it to a friend. And that's actually the worst thing you can do. So anybody want to unmute themselves and ask any questions?
Can I just add to what you just said there, Duncan?
Yeah, of course you can, Cole.
Yep. Well, one of the questions I get all the time is people say to me, well, what happens when people stop recruiting? This is really important that people recruit all the time or else it's going to stop. Now, you have just answered this. So people need to just listen to that again. Now, the point is this, that once you donate, you are going to receive. So the question is, do you want to stop receiving? And the answer is no. Yeah. So 12 months from now, I still will be donating to people all across the globe. Why? Because the more I donate, the more I receive. Whether or not new people are in the system, I will still be donating because I still want to receive. So the company is very, very solid on that front. And when you look at the company is 16, the CEO has 16 years experience in a previous company. It's very strong. You're with somebody that knows what he's doing. Now, we haven't spoke about the new levels yet, which adds another dimension to everything that we're doing. Should we talk about that now?
Yeah, I think we should, Colin, yes.
We should. Well, last night, I'm not even sure what time it was last night because I was fast asleep, but the company released 3 new levels. Now, this company, 50/50, is only 8 weeks old. In the 8 weeks, they've had tremendous growth. I think Duncan has said already, there's over 8,500 members across the globe, but it could be a hell of a lot more. And the only reason that has stopped people from joining as fast as maybe we'd like is that they can't get together $250, especially across the globe. So what 50/50 have done is they've now brought out 3 lower levels than the 250. This now opens it up to the whole globe. The lowest level is $25. Somebody with $25 could get started in 50/50, donate that $25 to 2 people, and they are in the system. They are an active donor. They will receive donations at the $25 level from across the globe. They'll share it with 2 people, and off it goes. Do you know 2 people that would like to get involved that have $25 that can share this with people they know? If the answer is yes, then you're in the right place. If you don't think you know 2 people that can find $25 to get started in this program, this platform, then they're going to struggle. What this also does, being at $25, and remember, being global, the company cannot touch any of those donations for this to be legal across the globe. Not 1 cent of that donation goes through the company. Everything goes person to person. What 50/50 have done, going in at this low level of $25, is that's going to disrupt lots of the copycat companies that have people send donations to that company. It will disrupt because people want to be in a safe place where they control their donations. So we're in a very, very powerful position. So 25 is the first lowest level. Then we've got the $50 level. and then we've got the $150 level. I haven't even got it all worked out in my head yet what we receive, but I know at the $150 level we receive $450. With that $450, somebody's then able to get into the bigger levels, the ones we talked about tonight, straight away at $250, and off they go, straight to the top. And I guarantee you now, it won't be long before we hear a story of somebody that started on the $25 level. They've gone right through the system all the way up to the $4,000 level. I guarantee you it won't be that long till we see that story. Someone will do that. That's going to be a great day.
I don't know about you, Colin, but I've never seen anything happen so fast in my life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, I am sitting here right now, and all I can see flashing across my screen is donation received, donation received.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And the beautiful thing is, it's not just for those at the top. Remember, it's because of the Morbius loop. As soon as you finish the cycle, and bear in mind as well, Duncan, there's lots of people on here today that have maybe just experienced the cycle for the first time. People are now seeing how this Morbius loop is working. People have seen themselves fitted back into the system. Brand new cycle starting underneath somebody they don't know. They're seeing people fall into their donation center that they don't know, receiving donations from across the globe. It's absolutely incredible. Today has been an incredible day.
Absolutely amazing. Colin, it's worth mentioning as well that anybody can take advantage of these new levels. There is a separate site at the moment, but it is all linked in with your existing team. Don't be put off if, as an example, because Colin, you actually registered before me. I introduced you.
Yeah.
Now, does that matter? No, not really, because did I miss out? Yes, I missed out on one donation. Does it bother me? Not really, because what happened is you finished your first matrix. This is on the new system, and immediately you pop back into my business now, and now you are back in the system. So anybody that has registered maybe before their sponsor, don't worry about it. Don't be put off if you're the sponsor because you think you've missed out. You'll miss one donation and that's it. All your team will follow you automatically. It works brilliantly. It is incredible what's happened today. I've never seen anything like it. Just amazing. It's been hard to keep on top of it. Absolutely amazing. So just to explain to everybody, there is a separate site to that where you can go and take advantage of that. And it will be integrated into the existing site, and there'll be a brand new site coming soon as well. So very soon it'll be all one system, but right now it's two separate systems, but it works exactly the same way. I know if you're brand new on this call, you've only maybe not even got your head around the whole system at all, but don't worry about it. You don't really need to, as I said. Just ask if anybody says to you, do you need to understand how this works? Ask yourself this question: do you understand how a car works? Do you need to understand how it works to drive it? No, you don't. You just get in it and you know it works. It's exactly the same with this system. This system works flawlessly. It's brilliant. All you have to do is take advantage of it and just try and tell as many people as possible. I'll tell you what, I have never been in anything where I am itching to tell everybody. Everybody should know about this system, and leave it to them to decide whether it's for them or not. It really is that simple, and keep it really simple. Anybody want to unmute themselves, or anybody want to ask a question before we finish for the night? Let me just look at the chat.
The chat's been answered, Duncan. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing.
Hi, Duncan and Colin.
Hi, Mike.
Hi. What is that new site? How do we get onto it?
Colin, could you actually paste it into the chat room? It's actually called 50/50 Fast. So basically, you register with exactly the same username, ID number, and password that you use for the site that you've got, and you can literally just log in. Colin, could you paste it into the chat if you've got it?
Yeah, I will, yeah.
So all you do is you use the same ID number that you've got now, the same password, don't change anything. There it is there, Colin's put it, so it's 5050fast.com. So all you do is you log into that with your normal username and password, and you can see it's basically exactly the same. It is fast, really fast. So, Blessing, did you have a question you wanted to ask? No,
not at all. I think you guys covered most.
That's all right. Don't worry. So, anybody else got any questions they want to ask before we finish for the night?
Duncan, it's Stephen Hardy. Can you hear me?
Hi, Stephen.
Duncan, is there any training, or do you plan doing any training as far as using the drop-down menu in the office once you're actually logged in?
When you say the drop-down menu, I will open up the back office and I'll go through each section. It's a good idea, Stephen.
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow night and I'll record it.
If you record it, I won't be available tomorrow night.
Well, don't worry, because we record these calls. So the whole point is that, we want obviously everybody to invite new people onto these calls, and it will be a presentation, short presentation like it is, but good idea. We'll go through the back office. So new people can see especially, and once it's recorded, anybody can use that. And I'm also going to show you the Mobius loop. When you try and explain that to somebody, I can tell you now, you cannot begin to understand it until you've actually gone through it. It happened with Colin. Colin's on the call today. The first day I introduced Colin, it was around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I said to him, Colin, I want you to watch a video. When will you watch it? He said, I'll watch it now. So we literally spoke about half an hour after that, and Colin came on the call. He literally got going and registered within minutes of watching that video. And he actually said to me, I do a Zoom call with you and invite a few people on. And that's what happened. And literally in the same day, Colin had cycled. So in other words, he filled 6 positions in his matrix and received $750 in the day. I'm trying to get around to, I think I've lost where I was getting to on that. But yes, that's what it was. I'll tell you what we were talking about, the Mobius loop. So what happened was Colin was out. I didn't realize it. I suddenly saw this email that said, Colin Simmons is about to donate to you again. Now, think about this. He'd only just donated to me a few hours earlier that day. Now, I suddenly saw this email and I thought he'd made a mistake. I thought he'd gone and registered again. So I called him and he said to me, I haven't done anything, I'm out. And I suddenly realized, and so did Colin, the penny dropped. I said, it automatically puts you back into the next cycle automatically. And of course, what you have to do to start that cycle, you have to donate again. So what did Colin do? He started donating to me again. Now, about a week later, I can remember phoning Colin, because when we first spoke, he was honest with me. I asked him a question. I said to him, Colin, can I ask you, how are things financially? Really, I mean? And he said, this is what he said to me, excuse my friend, shit. And I said to him, how shit? And he said, bad. So I said, right, well, let's get turning that around now. I said, I knew Colin was a worker. He doesn't mess around, and he didn't. And literally about a week later, I can remember phoning Colin and saying, Colin, do you remember that conversation we had where I said, well, I'm going to help you turn your life around? And he said, yeah. And I said, and all that seems to be happening is you keep sending me more and more donations, which he does every day. It's unbelievable. I can't think how many times you've donated to me today, but the reason why he can is because he's receiving a lot more than he's donating. Brilliant. What an amazing system. So my advice to everybody is take this seriously. Look at this like this is the best thing that you have ever seen in your life, because I don't know whether you have realized that yet, but I can honestly tell you, I have never seen anything quite like this, ever, ever. And I've been around and seen most things. I got excited about things, but I'll tell you what I have realized with this. This is real. This is happening. You can make whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, an actual reality with this. So don't mess with it. Take it seriously. Treat it like a business, even though it is not a business, and enjoy it. And make this Christmas the best Christmas you've ever had, and make next year the best year you're ever going to look forward to. So unless anybody else has got any questions, I'm going to finish for the night because I've got a lot to do.
I have a question.
You have a question? Go on, Blessing. What do you?
Yeah, just one question. You know the new 50/50 and the 25 system $50 just came out today. If I join this week and I donate $5 2 times.
Sorry, the sound is breaking up, Blessing.
No, I said I'm going to join this week, right? But if I donate $25 twice and I get recycled, I get the donation back. I'll be donating to people, right? If I come in the $25 level.
It's best just to explain the process there, Duncan. I think it's hard to hear the question.
I know.
I think he's asking about the process.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to understand what you're asking, Blessing. Unfortunately, the sound's breaking up every time you speak. Do you understand what she's asking?
Yes, what I'm asking is, if I come in the low level, $25 level.
Yeah.
Yeah, would I be able to? Does that mean I'll be in the system?
Yes, you would, Blessing. Yes, you would. Obviously, you need to pay for that license for the lower level, which is $19 for 6 months. Now, once you've done that and you donate on the lowest level, $25 between 2 people, you will then get eligible to receive 6 donations at that level.
Exactly.
So as soon as 6 people fall within that donation center, you will receive 12.56, whatever that comes out to.
Okay.
All right. So then obviously you can do the 25, you could do the 50, and you could do the 150 within that website if you like.
Within that, I can jump, right? I can donate higher level.
Well, yes, you can. I mean, obviously you're already in the 250 level, as I know. But it would make sense because not everybody you talk to will be able to go into the 250. You now have another option for them. So as long as you're in those levels yourself, then you will receive donations from those people. If you're not in those levels yourself and you've still recommended them to those levels, that's still okay. It just means that you won't get the donations from those people you've brought in because they will float up to somebody above you that is in those levels. So personally, I make sure I'm in all the levels I can be in, whether it's the high or the low.
So for $5 level,
yeah.
And if I decide to pay another level, instead of me paying $50 level, I can pay like $500, right?
On the first level is $25. That goes between 2 people. Once you've done that, you're qualified to receive donations on that level. There's only 3 levels in the lower system: 25, 500, 50, and 150. That's it. Then the normal system: 250, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
I get it.
Okay.
Basically, the objective for everybody is to get into each level as quickly as possible, because you never know who or what's going to happen with anybody that you introduce or they introduce. And what you don't want to happen in this system is somebody to upgrade to another level and you are not at that level, because they will, you will miss out on that one donation. Now, the good thing is it's not the end of the world. So don't panic if you haven't got the funds to upgrade to the next level or you are not quite ready yet. But as soon as you do upgrade, anybody that you've personally introduced follows you, so they automatically come back into your business automatically. So even though somebody, let's say you were at the 250 level and you introduced somebody and they upgraded to the 500 level, you would miss out only on the 250 donation. As soon as you upgraded to the 500 level yourself, that person now pops back into your matrix and you receive donations from them for life.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
That happens on every level. So the idea is always keep ahead of your team, or if you can, and I would recommend it, but don't overstretch yourself. But if you can afford it, move up to the next level as quickly as possible. And then it means that if somebody decides, as an example, you might introduce somebody tomorrow who decides to come in maybe at the 250 and the 500 at the same time. If you're already there, that means immediately that person sends you 2 donations, 125 for the 250 level and 250 for the 500 level. You benefit from both levels.
Okay.
Now, you want to be in all the levels. That's why when they opened up the new system today, I immediately registered for all of them. Why? Because I've got a team of people and I don't want to miss out on their donations.
Okay, like so if for example, if I don't have the, if I don't $50 to register now,
well,
but I can register for the $25, then it will go to my upline sponsor, right?
Yes. Now, Blessing, if you haven't got the money, I don't want people to overstretch themselves. I don't know.
Okay, I can hardly hear you though.
Just bear with me a second. I'm going to have to. Tosca, you're putting your hand up, but the sound is terrible. I'm going to have to put you on mute. Sorry. Tosca, can you type your message in the chat room because the sound is interfering with everybody? Sorry. Blessing, just so you know, I've forgotten what we were talking about then. We were talking about the different levels. Yeah, what I was going to say is don't overstretch yourself. If you can't afford it, don't do it. What you can do is just cycle, not just once or twice or 3 or 4 times on each level until you've received the donations and enough funds to allow you then to fund upgrading. Remember, if you've started at whatever level you've started at, let's say the 250 for now, that is all you're ever going to be out of pocket. I have not put in any more money other than the 250 I started with, and I'm now up to the 5 donation levels, all funded from donations. No more money out of pocket. So it doesn't matter whether you start now on the $25 level or any one in between. Wherever you are, you can do this. All you've got to do is just work a little bit. We're going to finish now. Toshka, if you want to ask a question, just type it into the chat room because unfortunately, when you unmuted yourself, I just couldn't hear anything. Anybody else want to take advantage of the last couple of minutes with any other questions?
Hi, Duncan. It's Max. Just a quick, it's actually something which I might ask the company to do, because people are finding a challenge to upgrade or pay the $19 using the card because at times it declines. Is it possible that they also include an option for Bitcoin so that people can, because some people are now resorting to register again in the lower levels because when they try to use their card, the system says it's declined. If the Bitcoin option is available, then it might make it easier.
I will make sure that they can add something. I don't know, to be honest, I haven't looked at the various options on the other site of what are available. Colin, do you know what's available?
No idea. It was that quick today. I haven't had a chance to really look. I just registered, paid it and done. So I don't know.
To be honest with you, I'm going to go and have a look now you've mentioned that. Yeah. I thought there were more options.
The only option which is available is paying by card. But if you're registering for the first time, it gives you the Bitcoin option, or if you're buying tokens, rather.
I know the company are doing a training call. I'm not sure what day they said they were going to do it, but I will speak to John or Joe and find out more about that, Max, and I'll get back to you.
All right, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Okay.
Duncan.
Okay.
Yes, hi.
When I registered for the 50/50 fast, it said my card had failed, but it did not, even though it said it did. So that's a point too.
I'm glad you pointed that out. Just let's just bring that up. If that happens with anybody, where it looks like it's not gone through, before you go and try to do it again, phone up your card company and check whether that transaction went through or not. Because if it did, you probably don't need to even pay again.
You also get an email.
Yes, because I know there is one guy that I introduced and he actually went and paid 4 times. He showed it me. It did show that it said it had failed. And what he went and did then was paid it again. And then we found out he paid 4 times. And now he had it refunded. So don't worry if that happens. But before you go and try again, phone up your card company and just check that that first transaction has not been taken. If it has, you don't need to pay again. We can sort that out. It might just be a glitch. I mean, listen, there were, I don't know how many people registered today on that new site, but just by what happened alone in my business, I know Colin was inundated. So was I. I've never seen anything like it. It was just phenomenal what happened today. Just unbelievable. It's still happening now as we speak. I can see message after message coming through. You know, that's amazing. So anyway, thanks very much, everybody. We will have another call tomorrow night. I'm going to make that more of a training call. I will record it. And thanks for you attending tonight. Colin, you've got a call tomorrow, 11, yes?
Absolutely, yes. 11 a.m. UK time.
So Colin does a call every day at 11 a.m. It's mainly for people in the UK or people in America. So if you've got anybody in the States that you want to bring onto that call, that's the time to do it. Ray Sinclair is not doing a call tonight at 11, mainly because he's inundated. He's been away, he's got back, and he needs to catch up. So apologies for that.
Duncan, how do we access Colin's call in the morning?
If all these calls are always posted on the 50/50 chat room, messenger room, the what's the other one? The WhatsApp group and the Facebook site.
As per the email you sent earlier.
Yes, exactly. And I email out to my leaders or my personally sponsored people. Now, it is your responsibility to make sure your people know that that call is on. So if I send you an email, you need to pass it on to your people because I won't have their details.
Thank you.
Okay. But I try and keep everybody informed somehow. But listen, I know a lot of people don't like using Facebook, but just use it as a communications tool to keep in contact with what's going on because this grows so fast. You need to be on top of it. You need to know what's happening. I think we're going to see a lot more coming in the next few months, especially with how I've seen this company deal with situations. It's amazing. Okay, thanks very much, everybody.
Hi, Duncan. Just one last. Is that all right? It's last.
Yeah, go on, Lawson.
Yes, yeah. It's just like a suggestion, really. I don't know what you guys think. You and Colin. I don't know if it's possible to probably have separate webinars, like one just a presentation and a Q&A, just from previous 1 or 2 webinars, really. I mean, I do quite invite a few prospects to try and do that. You know, quite.
Well, Lawson, to be honest with you, the presentation, there isn't any more to say. I mean, the video does it all. I mean, my advice is watch that video a few times until you understand what it. The trouble is people watch it, but they don't really watch it. Focus on it and maybe watch it 2 or 3 times, and I'll tell you, you'll begin to understand what it's telling you. I mean, there are questions people ask, but listen, we're on a questions and answers call every night. And it amazes me how many people come on a questions and answers call and don't ask questions. What are we supposed to do? That's what it is. It's a questions and answers call. You know, here's your chance now. Ask the question. If you want to unmute your mic, if you don't want to, you're too embarrassed maybe, type the question in or send us an email with the questions on, and we will go through those questions on a call. We can do it so everybody can hear.
Yeah, my point was just maybe the experience of this morning. Just like when you bring prospects, and then some of the misunderstandings of some people, the way they question the company really. So that's why.
I know. Yeah. Listen, again, listen. It amazes me the questions people come up with. There's not that many, to be honest. They're generally the same. I mean, it's like one person said to me, and I'd never been asked this before. He said, what's the difference between gifting and crowdfunding? Now, you know yourself, we've all got Google and computers nowadays. Just go and type that question in. If you don't know the answer, go and find out, because I know the answer. Gifting is not taxable. Donations are. So
yeah, I just hope, you know, like you just say, people maybe watch the webinars more, and probably won't have like, you know, a few people, you know, when they ask negative things, especially when you're just bringing new people. We don't want new people to hear some of the negative, you know what I mean?
Listen, I want people to ask any question, because anybody who is asking a question is telling me one thing, that they are interested to find out more. Hello, sorry, who's that?
Well, it's Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Oh yes, I've got a problem that I've got a stroke, but I'm having some people that they're willing to join.
Okay.
But some of them, they are a bit educated, and I can't able to answer them. And can I able to give them a pin number for them to listen to this channel?
Yes, of course you can. This is open to anybody to bring in on. Absolutely. That's the whole point. Yes. My only suggestion is, first of all, let them watch the video, because they do need to know what they're coming on to see. But absolutely, yes, this is what we want. We want more and more people to be on these calls. That's the whole point. Let me give you an example. Is it Lenovo? Yes. Once somebody's watched the video, the only question I ask them is, do they want to know more? Now, what is the more is the question. Well, as an example, invite them onto one of these calls. They're every day. Colin does them first thing in the morning. I do them 8 o'clock at night, and Ray does them at 11 o'clock. So they can choose whichever call they want to go and call. I can set up a Zoom call with them, and we can just have a private chat, and they can ask every question they want. But it amazes me how few do that. The ones that do that are having fantastic success. That's exactly what Colin did the same day I introduced him. He literally said to me, if I bring a couple of people on a call, could we do a Zoom call now? And I said, yeah, absolutely. That's what we want. Now, what happened was, I was expecting 2 people on that call. Colin actually had 10, and every one of them joined this system. Everyone. Now,
okay.
You know, I want the people I've introduced to do the same. But the way I look at this is, if they don't call me, I presume they're fine, they don't need me, or they're not interested, or they're quite happy. That's it. I'm not going to chase people. If they want this, they have to come to me, I'm afraid.
Hi, Duncan. Mark here.
So, hi, Mark.
Can I just encourage everybody?
Yeah, Mark, you need to speak up. It's very quiet.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's very quiet.
Okay, I'll shout.
Okay.
My friends David and Rosa are on the call. They watched the video, and they won't mind me saying, but David private messaged me and said, wow, 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 we want to join. So that's people who are on this call, first time tonight on a Zoom call.
Fantastic.
So that just backs up what you just said, Duncan.
Fantastic. That's what we're trying to tell people. Listen, I used to be a builder. Any builder will tell you, if you haven't got the right tools, you're going to make the job difficult for yourself. Now, what we're trying to provide you is the tools to do the job. The tools in this business are the video, these calls, the webinars, Zoom. Use them. That's what this is about. Just use the tools, and it makes the job easy for you. You don't have to then explain to people questions. We'll do it for you. That's why I'm giving up my time here, to answer any questions anybody has. I don't care what it is, as long as we don't get people that are being stupid. I mean, it's like there was a gentleman the other night that insisted, he kept asking the same question, where's the money coming from? I don't know how many times I had to explain that the money is a donation from one person to another. That's it. What doesn't anybody understand about that? I really don't know. So anyway, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Welcome on board the 2 people.
No problem.
And thanks very much, everybody. And let's say good night, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, Duncan. Well done, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Colin, thank you, Duncan. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome, Blessing. Good to have you on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Almost maybe every day, literally, I don't know.
It's what? Sorry, Blessing. Say that again.
I said I'll probably be on this call every night, every day.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
He's saying he's trying to attend the meetings almost every day.
Ah, okay, yeah, good. Thank you. Okay, good night, everybody.